line. All right, to our next story. You know, yes, political parties and associations are a central feature of any democracy, I should tell you. So registration of political parties gives these groups legal status. In Nigeria, my country, your country, politics is a full-time process, full-time business. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has announced the receipt of 12 fresh applications from groups seeking to register as political parties. This brings the total number of applications under review to 122. The electoral umpire has let it be known that it would respond to these applications in accordance with the Electoral Act and regulations, Wale. 122.
I think that we need to assess the increase in number of political parties within the context of democratic development of the country.
Yeah.
Do we need to have multiplicity of political parties? Yes. It's part of the ingredients of democracy. And if you have so many parties, it means you are giving alternatives, platforms to many people to express themselves. The UK, United Kingdom, has about 398 political parties, you know, and over 1,000 that are not even registered. But the question is, in terms of...
But the front runners remain the Tories,
just 2-3 political parties,
yeah.
You know. India has...
And sorry, they are United States of America,
yes,
which became 200 and how many years old on July 4.
Yeah.
So, has 2 front-running parties and independents too.
Yes, independent. So in terms of qualitative political transformation, in terms of deeply democracy, the question is, having 127 political parties, does it actually transform the political landscape?
122.
The answer is no. Because take the UK, for instance. When they are talking about registering of political parties, you have the Scottish political party just for the people of Scotland.
Okay.
You have the Wales party just for the people of Wales. So parties who are registered based on interest, including ethnic interest.
Okay.
In the US, you have socialist parties. You have parties...
The Green Party.
The Green Party, even Marijuana Party. The California State Party. In India, the biggest democracy in the world, they have 6 national parties. But there are 58 state-based parties. It means that when you are talking about democratic development, it's not just about the number of political parties, but the qualitative representation.
Yeah.
For instance, all these parties must have offices in all the local governments in Nigeria. They must contest elections nationally. They must have officials, local government officials and others all over the country. So when you are talking about really, there are no independent candidates, unlike we had in the 1950s, where you had Ibadan People's Party.
Yeah.
Ilorin Talaka Parapo Party, a political party.
Yeah.
Based, just focusing on Ilorin, one focusing on Ibadan. So and then you had independent candidates. People like Chike Obi and other concerned on the platform of independent candidates. So when you look at what happened in the 50s, qualitatively, the democracy we had at that time was more qualitative. But here, most of these political parties are frontiers of the existing political parties.
Yeah.
The PDP,
of the big,
APC, the big parties. You discover that many of them will register about 5-6 parties. So that towards the election, many of them will now be declaring for the ruling party. So then you also discover that most of these parties that are registered, go and look at their offices. They don't have offices. Some of them cannot even count, or they don't even talk of 500 members. But they are waiting for the time to collect money from INEC. So in terms of qualitative transformation, quantitatively, yes, we are making progress, but in terms of qualitative transformation, most of these parties are footnotes of the existing parties. So these are the dangers. And many of them are not actually interested in contesting an election, but to use that platform as a negotiating platform.
Yeah.
Okay, we are declaring for APC at the state level, we are declaring for PDP at the state level, then you collect some money. So it's a good thing to have many political parties. In terms of the real content and form, I don't think, we are making progress.
Dr. Officially, we have away from the APC, which is at the center, there are 17 parties registered. So INEC has, in addition to what it had before, 12 new associations have approached them.
There's interest.
So today we have 122.
It's good. It's good.
Human rightists will tell you and I, you have a right to associate, a right to be registered.
Beyond even the right to associate, I should also be able to decide that my sphere of influence should just be my neighborhood.
Okay.
For instance, I want to control the councillorship of my neighborhood. That is where our problem usually starts when it comes to registering political parties. We want all our parties to have nationwide presence. That, for me, I think is faulty. Like I said, I can decide I want a green party. My whole area must operate along that policy. It should be my right.
Sorry,
like
Wale talked about yesteryear, you know.
Yeah.
I remember the IPP, Ibadan Parapor party, and so on. The country was seemingly, well, sometimes I agree with late Professor Chinua Achebe. There was a country in this country where things seemed to work.
Yes.
Where did we drop the ball?
Well, we got it wrong when we started this idea of having all parties as national parties, no independent candidacy also. That's where we got it wrong.
And
because
they are in the process of
in those days, the NC, the PRP, which are not as big as the UPN.
Second Republic, five registered parties. Yeah.
But even beyond that, I mean, before we saw what happened with the regions, they will come and negotiate. Let's give you this, let's form the government together.
Okay.
That's the way it should be. If there is a big party that wants to control my area, it is for us to negotiate.
Okay.
So that we can come together.
Yeah.
We should liberalize these things to be like the banks. In this country, we have national banks. We have regional ones. So it now depends on your capital. You can't move from one level to the other without capitalization. And that should be it for us. Because if we don't have this national structure in place, I'm sure some parties controlling states will have more local governments under other parties than the one at the center.
Okay.
Because you can then say, okay, boys in my area, ladies in my area, let's get together, let's produce the local government chairman. This is our party. And they can do it elsewhere too. It's just the ideology. But because everybody must now have offices in 774 local government areas and they have structures, it becomes a problem. So the people with the deep pockets, they'll take over.
But I have trouble here.
Yes.
Wale, you understand that political parties all have rules of engagement designed by them. But they hardly play by those rules.
They won't be able to play by those rules.
Oh, really?
Yes, because those who are the funders must make back their money. That's what happens. That's what I'm saying. If we...
So true.
Sir,
politics is real full-time business.
Let's imagine that those of us who appear on this program will decide to come together and form a party. We can't afford to be national in outlook because we don't have the money. So we should be able to have our own, right to exist.
Okay.
Not just by the dictates of INEC and the Constitution. It should be able to give us. We've been struggling with independent candidates for how many years? It's always been thrown out. At a point, it was like, yes, we have passed it.
We're almost there. Yeah.
It was yanked off because now, some people may believe in the individual and not the party.
Yeah.
Why are we denying ourselves of that kind of opportunity? Some people we know are good. They keep looking for parties where they can.
Doctor, but the framers of our Constitution we're looking at the larger picture, national unity. So that's why that's why it was required that you have a presidency.
Don't forget, even the politicians say it. All politics are local.
Okay.
So why are we now making it national? You have your own area where the shoe is pinching you.
Yes, so we should not talk about the bus that carries all of us.
No, you can't put everybody in the same direction. You can't. You can't tell us.
So you are justifying ethnic politics?
Not ethnic in the real sense of it. Are we going to say, per se, that the NCNC, the parties of York, that they were totally ethnic? No. They only played from their region into the center, where everybody now is represented at the center.
Yeah, Wale, we'll go on a break shortly, but before then, let me remind Wale that the NCNC was originally National Convention of Nigerians and
Cameroon.
Yes. Southwest Cameroon was part of Nigeria. You remember when Nigeria's map used to have one small belly, you know.
And there were so many other parties too at that time. So many.
Until the plebiscite.
Until 1963. And we dropped the ball, and today we are singing a different song. All right, folks, we'll go on a break, make some money because we need it.
Form our own party.
Okay. Oh, come on. I don't know about that. Let's go on a commercial break. We should be back shortly. Thank you. This is Journalist Hangout on. All right, folks, welcome back. We can give a part of the story we're broaching. You know, Wale, INEC says it has 12 fresh applications. The list of groups that want to be registered as political parties has risen to 122.
Okay.
That's progress.
So, like we have said, you know, it's an illusion of having multiplicity of choice for Nigerians.
Right.
The political space is still going to be dominated by maximum of 3-4 political parties. All these other parties, you may even discover that only a few of them will campaign, only a few of them will have offices, only a few of them is actually genuinely interested in capturing power, either at the state or federal level. And only few of them are ideologically different from the existing ones.
In the Second Republic, as fiery as it was, we had 5 active political parties.
And you could distinguish each of them. When you talk about UPN, you are talking of welfareism, social democratic, you are talking of free education, free health. So you know that when I'm voting for this party, there is a reason why I'm voting for this party. And that party comes to power to implement its policies. Then you have National Party of Nigeria is talking about unity, talking about one nation, one destiny, you know, agriculture. So each one had, so when you are voting in the Southwest, you know that, oh, look, this is why I'm voting for this particular party. But at the point, we wanted to impose a national culture, national politics, national spirit. And that brought a lot of problems. In fact, it was even partly what led to the Civil War. So we need to arrange, we need to organize and arrange ourselves in a way that to identify our differences. Not to gloss over those differences. So parties should be allowed to register based on particular specific interests that do not need to be necessarily national.
I cannot forget the dialogue between the late Sardauna and the late Zik. Whereas Zik said, let's forget our differences.
We cannot forget our differences, we must recognize.
Let us understand
our differences.
So trying to understand us is what we are trying to do.
Sure.
But 122 political parties will keep us so many miles and years away from home. Okay. I hope we are thinking. Okay. All right then.